back to Lovebug Tarot, and welcome all of my tarot goblins. So today we are doing our divination grid. We are doing the week ahead. So we'll be doing our affirmation cards, the grid, and we also have our tarot deck. So that being said, there are timestamps in the description, so if you want to skip ahead to the grid layout, the affirmation, the read, by all means, you can jump around. And all of the tools and stuff that I use are always listed as well, in case anybody is curious. So we're just going to jump in. Nothing really to report. I have new nails. Woo! We've been having fun with nail art. Alright, so let's get an affirmation card for the collective. What is the affirmation for the week ahead? Okay. And where am I going to put you? Right there. Alright, so this is going to live right there. Yes. We're going to give these a quick shuffle. I always shuffle... Whoa, cards flying out. Interesting energy right off the bat. I always shuffle ahead of time, but it never hurts to give it an extra little shuffle. All right, so put those right there, and we will come back to that in a moment. All right, so we're gonna give our divination deck. If you're not familiar with this deck, it's a... Please stop knocking stuff off the desk. My cat. She no doubt will make an appearance. Although I don't know how this is going to go. We have open flame now, so it's always an adventure. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh, if you're not familiar with this deck, it lays out, it's a square deck, as you can see. Don't mind the cat in the background. And so you lay it out in a full grid. And each card contains a half of a picture, and there's 4 of them. You'll see when we start laying them out. And you match the pictures, and each picture has a general representation, or general meaning representation. That too, I guess. A general meaning as well as a extra layer depending on its orientation, how it is orientated once it matches its other half. So that's kind of quick and dirty about how this deck works. If you've been here before, you probably know. Alright, so this is, I find, the easiest way and also the most fun way to shuffle the deck. Alright, there we go. Oh yeah, what I was saying before. We do this too. So yeah, I have new nails. That's the only thing really to report. Woo! But been playing with nail art because someone very dear was like, hey, you should do nail. And like, I was like, oh, that looks like really cool. And I love nail art. I've found I really enjoy it. But every time someone else did it, within a couple days, it would chip or peel or crack. I don't know what was going on because it was gel. Apparently that's supposed to last, and it just wasn't. So I decided to do my own. Yay for press-ons. Finally, that art degree is coming in handy. Anyways, all right. So, the week ahead. What is going on? All right, let's make sure this corner card is there. One day we'll have awesome lighting, and it'll be glorious. Today's not that day. We're doing the best with what we have. All right, so I try to match as I go. Oh, I completely forgot. We also have runes. I have Celtic and Norse runes. So we'll be using those to mark our matching pictures as well as helps with the read. Okay. I was like, I'm forgetting something. Why am I? That's why I was like pausing. I hate that. Like, I am forgetting something. I know I'm forgetting something. Everybody in screen? In frame? We try. Okay. Nothing yet. That doesn't mean anything. We're only on like the first row. And sometimes, always at the end, we'll take a moment to try to match things up by just staring deeply into the grid. And we always cut that out because no one needs to see that. It's very boring. It's like a minute or two of just silence. Like, no one wants that. Ooh! Alright. First picture to line up is our crowfish. Do we have anything up here? No. Okay. Crawfish, crawdad. Ooh. Alright, so we have a Celtic rune. And it's, ooh, transformation and power. Okay. Come here. Oh, okay. So in this case, I have the scales here. If this card was to turn, the scales would be orientated in the, this is the 4th position. So we're going to mark, ooh, 2 Celtic runes. Celtic runes are coming out in force today. So we have these 2. And it's skill, prosperity, radiance, and growth. I shuffle these. I feel pretty well. I mean, it's a bag. You can only, like, shake it so much. And ruffle them around. But, these have been coming out in the past couple of reads. Just an observation. Do with that what you will. Okay. Oh, wow. All right. That one just lined on up. So we have our little demons. Okay, 2 Celtic runes are just interesting. 2 and 3, and this one was a 2 and 3 as well. What are you? You're 4. 2 and 3. Interesting. Okay. I'll just keep that in mind. Plenty green pastures, wounds, and healing. Ooh, okay. Very interesting. Nope, mice are over there. Nope, nothing there. Oh, we do have the fire. Alright. A lot of runes coming out. Okay. This is Ingu's. It's a very grounding rune. I always see it like a seed kind of thing. Work, productivity. Let's see. We have 2 Celtic runes. A 2 and a 3 again. See? Sorry, there was a small interruption. Anyways. 2s and 3s. So 2, 3. 23 or 32 or even 5. And 5 is definitely a number of change. So if those numbers might resonate with someone. All right, so with the fire, we have Ingus. We also have strength, endurance, shield, and protection. Nope. Nope, nope. Nopety, nope, nope, no. All right, I don't think anything's there. I sometimes just look back just in case. Sometimes we catch it, sometimes it comes later. Okay, nothing there. No. No. Right? Yes. Sometimes you gotta think about it, like, wait a minute. Alright, birds. Nope. Castles. Oh! There were the birds. You may stay in frame. Alright. Alright, Norse rune. Gebo. The rune of gifts. Gifts also can be partnership as well. Alright. Nope. That's catty corner. Doesn't count. Don't see anything there. Okay. Are you... barely. Alright. We'll do our best. Nope. Let's see. Nope, that one's catty corner. No. Nope. Also a no there. Ooh. Alright, so in this case, we do have a picture lineup with the last card. Any others? No. So in this case, because you always read the last card, you read all of the images on the last card in their first position. Because we have one lining up, I'll read it in both this position, which is the fourth, and its first. So this one gets a rune. Isa. It's the rune of ice. Okay. All right, and then 4 pictures. It's a 4 and a 5. 4 and a 5. 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s. Something in consecutive order. Something like... We'll get more insight as we move along. All right, so insight, vision, intensity, and passion. Ooh, okay. So that's going to be for the whole card. We'll read that together. All right, so I'm going to take a moment and stare deeply into this and see if any other pictures line up, and I'll be right back. Okay, we are back. I don't see any other images that line up. That doesn't mean I might not trip over one later on. It's happened. All right, let's... Problem with nails is it's difficult to pick things up. Okay, so our affirmation is, again, this... We're getting a lot of repeated messages for the collective. Again, just an observation. So if you've been here or you're watching these again, it's definitely a... Things are happening. But again, this is a timeless read, so this could just be a theme that's been repeating also in your life. It says, you are your own ride or die. Show yourself some damn love and kindness. Again, this is our very, very sassy affirmation deck. All right, so I'm going to put that to the side here so we don't forget about it. And I do have the book because as long as I've been reading with this deck, I cannot remember all of the different positions for 50 different cards, because there's 4 in total for each card. Super fun. All right, so our first one is going to be I call them crawdads. I think they're called crawfish in here, but call them what you will. They're mini lobsters. Call them mini lobsters. Crayfish, whatever. I feel it's a regional discrepancy. Anyways, so the general meaning of the crayfish, crawfish, whatever you call them, the little aquatic pinchies, is learning to cope with fate. And again, this book is very flowery in its language, so it's like, I don't want to say destiny, but something like powers and such that are outside of your control. Just learning how to rise and meet them. It's like learning to cope with fates. It's like that fate or forces outside of your control is not necessarily a negative thing. Anyways, again, flowery language. Okay, so it's in its 4th position, as it is. So the phrase here for the 4th position is, too much haste often defeats the business. And it's interesting because we have transformation and power here as well. I'm going to grab our tarot cards. Haste defeats the business. There's definitely, I'm getting like Treebeard, like don't be hasty, like that kind of. If there's a power dynamic that's kind of shifting in your life, Again, this could be something that's very much like outside your immediate scope, could be the world at large, could be very personal to you as well. If something is shifting, there's that transformation, that shift of power, a power dynamic, or maybe you are even coming into something, coming into more responsibility. Again, Peter Parker, we're going to nerd out here for a second, more power. With great power comes great responsibility. Like, as those things change, don't be hasty. Don't rush into things. Ooh, 8 of Cups. Okay. Yes, things are shifting for you. Something is changing. Ooh, 2 of Cups. So, okay, so with 2 of Cups, I feel like this is very personal. This is something close to you. It could be a relationship, and again, this is a relationship, doesn't have to be an intimate romantic relationship. Sorry if you hear dogs screaming in the background. Someone's outside and they are losing their mind. Pretty sure they would scream at the leaves if they could, but anyways. So there is something shifting here, and it's Cups too. So there's something, yeah, this is something very personal to you. And I feel like you are also walking away from something. Something is shifting. It's like you're walking away from something to embrace something else or something new. As this happens, there's very much a solid message of like, don't rush into things. Look at things from all perspectives with the Hangman. To even take a moment, take a step back and make sure you're looking at the situation from, not from all angles, because I don't think anybody can really account for all angles, but from different points of view, or taking a moment. And I'm going to use the example of like a contract. You're given a contract, and you're looking it over. It's like, what would work best for you? Yes, but also what would be beneficial to the entity, the company, person that you are signing a contract with. So like all parties know very clearly what's going on. And that's a good example of like, don't rush into it. Don't just like, oh, I got the contract and just sign it. Take a moment, look it over, that kind of thing. Like there's definitely and again, with the 2 of Cups as well, I don't feel like this is a negative thing. It's like you are rising to meet the occasion, and they're just saying like your guides, your higher self, the cards are saying like, just don't rush into it. Make sure you see things from all perspectives. Like give yourself that moment to kind of take a breath, withdraw, and like look at it maybe objectively. Take the emotion out of it, as emotional as it could be. Because again, if you are, someone's offering you a contract for like a dream job or something of that capacity, emotionally it's really exciting. But it could be like, okay, that's exciting, but also take a moment and make sure everything's in order. You've got, all your ducks are in a row, kind of thing. All right, so moving on to the scales, which is number 42. Oh, literally. Our crawfish was 43 and the scales are 42. That's handy in the book. All right, so the scales are for, the general meaning is justice and balance, because they're scales. So in the 4th position, which this book is always wild, the phrase here is, your evil action will have consequence, which sounds so nihilistic. Yeah, so in the longer description, they talk about very opposite. They're just like, it could be an action like you aren't even really aware, could be hurting someone, or again, they make it sound like, you're an evildoer, Batman style, just with the cape. I am so selling myself out as a nerd. It's fine. But you're not. This could be... And again, we have radiance and growth, skill and prosperity were the runes that came here. So your skills and prosperity, it's... I'm getting... Okay. With the demons, I know the little demons over here, those are, the general meaning of that is like negative self-talk, or negative internal patterns of thinking. Very, very internal energy. With the scales in reverse like this, it could be that your internal world. I don't know why that came through, but something internally, mentally, your thought pattern could be causing you difficulty. It could be causing you, I don't want to say harm, but it's detrimental to your growth. Whatever this is, you have the skills to see it through. And I feel like with radiance and growth, in that capacity, you will grow exponentially with this, whatever this is shifting, whatever is shifting in your favor. However, make sure that what you're doing, if you are compromising, let's say, again, going back to that contract analogy, if you're compromising on a contract, if you are, again, I am not a legal advisor, please do take everything with a grain of salt, please. Yeah, just lost my train of thought. It'll come back. The train just jumps the track sometimes. It happens. All right, let's get some cards while... Whoa! All right, I'm not taking all of those. I'll take the front and the back. Yeah, okay, so we have the Page of Swords and the Seven of Pentacles. What you're growing, you have the foundation. All this root system here, you have the foundation for something to grow. Again, the Hanged Man here and the Seven of Pentacles is very much like, take a moment and see how much you have accomplished, how far you have come. You have the skills and the ability to see this through, this transformation that's happening. You do. Don't let negative self-talk or... Yeah, don't let negative, like, patterns of the past or negative self-talk, you know, the doubt, the imposter syndrome, if you will, like, don't let those things deter you from what you're able to do. It's almost like when it was talking about, what was the phrase? Your evil actions will have consequence. It's like negative self-talk becomes, even if it's like said in a self-deprecating way, like, oh, it's just a joke, I'm being funny. After a while, you keep saying that about yourself, that negative thing, and people start to be like, oh, well, that's actually, like, they start to believe it, and then after a while you start to believe it, until it becomes like this self-actualizing, you know, thing. So be very careful about how you talk to yourself. You know, if you find yourself kind of going down that road, like, it can take a lot of effort, but it's very worthwhile to consider of like, wait, where is this train of thought stemming from? And again, yeah, if you need, as always, like, if you need to talk to someone, you need to see a professional, by all means, talk to someone about this. Especially like a mental health professional, because they could have a very, you know, neutral point of view. Yeah, Nine of Swords. Be very aware of how you're talking to yourself. Don't let imposter syndrome or the what ifs and but and all of those, you know, ways that we can talk ourselves out of something, don't let those overcome you. Oh, and there was also a little bit of a message coming through of, if you're using the contract analogy as well with that transformation, being careful. Hi, I was wondering when you'd come up. Hi. Please don't try to touch the fire. The idea of, like, making sure everybody is happy on that contract, you know, and that takes compromise from both sides. Hi, yes. We demand pets. Do not care what we're doing. We demand pets right now. Okay, can I finish, ma'am? Ma'am? Hi. I'm getting headbutts. You scratchy on the top? Okay. Okay. Well, train of thought. I guess that one's done. Are we? Can I have the book back? I need to read, my dear. Ma'am. All right. Can I put you on your pillow? Will that suffice? Nope. Nope. We want to groom right here. Ma'am. Hi. Yes, thank you. I need to keep reading. Kind of in the middle of something, ma'am. All right, come here. I know. How rude of me. Just fur everywhere. Okay. Kitty glitter. I know. It's everywhere. All right, number 47 is the demons. Thank you for sticking with me through the cat break. Right, so the general meaning of the image is subconscious negative thoughts. Little demons, you can think of them like that little shoulder devil kind of thing. So in its second position, it says, yielding to the temptation of taking vengeance for an offense, you will only increase the unpleasantness. Okay. So that very flowery phrase is, I think of more of the phrase like hurt people hurt people. The idea that hold on. Ah, stop it. No. Man, no, that is not to play with. Oh my God, you are being such a brat today. Okay. Where was I? God. Again, just like last week, there could be a lot of distractions happening. I'm gonna take this, put this away from you so you're not tempted. I know you. She's right here. Just out of frame. Yeah, you are. Right. So the idea of like hurt people. If this transition, this transformation, let's say the power dynamic changes, or the power dynamic is changing in your life, again, kind of going back to that Peter Parker vibe with great power comes great responsibility. It's also the same responsibility as not to like abuse that power. If you become in a position of like authority and someone in the past now who perhaps has wronged you, or you feel you've been wronged by them, and you are now in a position of authority at like in the hierarchical, let's say in a business or even socially, you know, you have more pull, you have more power than them, not to like seek that vengeance, which is interesting because we also have the plenty green pastures, wound and healing. Okay. Let's see. So yeah, I feel like it's just taking a having a cool head, like keeping a calm, cool head when working with something. So we have the Fool. Let's see. Wow, we have the Fool and the Lovers, two majors back to, it's just right out of the gate. Okay. And the King of Wands. Ultimately, the choice is yours. Again, with the Lover, it's like, yes, two people coming together. It could be for some of you that in the past, this was someone who you did have a close relationship with. And perhaps with the Fool, even there was like, I say naivety with, I don't mean that in a negative way. It could have been that you were very innocent, very, again, I don't want to say, yeah, maybe you were naive, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that in this situation, and it could have been a situation that you were taken advantage of. But as you're moving on to green pastures, like you are, something is, you know, changing and transforming in your life, that power dynamic is shifting, you're moving to greener pastures. Focus more on the wounds, your wounds, and healing your wounds, and how you have healed. How you handle, perhaps, you know, something from that past, something from that dynamic, maybe even coming back up. It's your choice how to address it, how to even acknowledge it, if that's something you even want to do. With the King of Wands, kings again are energy. So kings are more action-oriented energies. So with the King of Wands, there could be this want to, it could be a topic or something that you're very passionate about. You know, again, the king is a King of Wands especially, we're dealing with fire. So we're dealing with like a very spiritual aspect. So this could have been a very deep wound that someone or situation, you know, caused you. But how do you choose to move forward with it now that you are in like I want to say almost a position of privilege or position of power? We have the Empress. So this is kind of a big choice. This is a big thing. We have, out of everything, 3 major arcanas came out. You have the Empress. How you move forward with this is going to be very impactful, not just for you, but your immediate environment as well. And perhaps even like it might have implications on a larger scale. How you decide to address this, work with it, that could become very important. Okay. All right. So we're going to move to 44, which is the fire. Nope, too far. Too far. Go back. Oh, we had 43 with the crayfish, and now we have 44 with the fire. So we had 42, 43, 44. So again, these consecutive numbers are kind of, yeah, a lot of consecutive numbers. Something is happening in almost a sequential order, I want to say. Counting up to, well, 43, 47, a lot of 40s. Right? 43, 42, yeah. Something's moving. Something's moving in kind of a sequential order for you. Interesting. All right, we'll just keep that in mind. Ingus. The rune Ingus is... it's a very earthy rune. I almost see it as like a seed with the roots coming down and the little branches going up. Again, very much like our Seven of Pentacles over here, that had the root system and then the little plant kind of coming up as well. Because it's like that, yeah, it's like that productivity. Something is growing and taking shape, but in a very balanced and grounded way. Which is great because fire is the symbolism for the image is passion. So it's something you are definitely passionate about. And we have strength, endurance, shield, and protection. It's in its first position, and it says, fire will envelop your heart. Again, super flowery. So, all right, we'll get some cards, because I don't... That passion could be with a person, could be with a project, could be like what you are passionate about, like what you feel is your calling. So let's get some, can we get some more information, please? Oh, 3. Ooh, okay. The Devil, the Nine of Cups, and the Six of Pentacles. With strength and endurance here as well, the shield and protection and the devil, I feel like this is something that maybe you've struggled with. Even though you're passionate about it, passion can easily turn to burnout. Like a fire can still burn you. It can warm you, but it can still burn you. So this is something you could, again, like I'm thinking, like if you had something you're super passionate about and you were trying to make a living off of it, it's very easy to burn out. And this goes back, I think, as well to that like negative self-talk, our little, shoulder demons making small talk, if you will. And again, I'm seeing our affirmation card over here. You are your own ride or die. Show yourself some damn loving kindness. The fact that if you did burn out, if you have struggled with that negative self-talk, it is definitely something that I feel you are working on, and you have the tools to work with it and quiet it down if it gets too loud. I don't want to say overcome, because just speaking from personal experience, I don't feel you really overcome these kinds of things, because for many of us, it's ingrained so much it's just ingrained into us. So we just get tools to quiet it down, or if it does become loud, we get tools to help us work through it. So I feel like you have definitely been working on that, because we have the Nine of Cups, which is a beautiful card. You have stuck with this. You've stuck with this passion of yours. And then with burnout, we were talking about burnout as well. And in the upright position, the phrase was, fire will envelop your heart. So it could be you've been working through a burnout, and you're now coming back into that passion, that what lights you up. And we also have Six of Pentacles. There's some kind of reciprocity coming in here too. Something, again, there's definitely a sense of something is shifting, something's growing. And I love that you got shield and protection here as well. Like, this has been a very, I don't want to say, well, it's been a protected path for you. Even if the path has not been easy. Even if there were setbacks, there were stumbling blocks. Like, just because a path is protected, or you are protected as you walk a particular path, that doesn't mean it's, all sunshines and rainbows. You could be protected and still fall down. I don't know if that makes sense. I hope it does. I don't know. I just get the sense of like, it's not been easy, but that doesn't mean that you've ever given up. And what you've been putting out is now coming back to you as well. Yeah. Excuse me. This could be something like a work. Something related to work as well. Again, everybody's situation is going to be different. It could be a person or a group of people. It could be a work situation, which could also involve a person or a group of people. But I feel like the big themes here are applicable to, I mean, if you've stuck around this long, I feel like something in here resonates for you. So, yeah, it's going to resonate a little differently for every person, but you're still walking your path. And that's awesome. Like, shoot. That's freaking awesome. All right, so we have 12 with the birds. The birds. All right, so with the birds, the general meaning of the picture is freedom from responsibilities. Again, like I get the phrase like free as a bird kind of comes to mind. With Gebo, we have, this is the rune of gifts, of partnership. And we were kind of talking about partnerships up here as well. Interesting. Because it's in its fourth position, the phrase here is an obstacle with which you will have to fight. But with the gift, the rune of the gift, and also that partnership, it could have been that we were talking about wounds and that power dynamic and like not retaliating, if you will, against someone, even if they have hurt you in the past. There was like walking away. There could have been this partnership that how do I phrase this? It was like an obstacle you have to overcome, or you are overcoming, or you have overcome. Like there's, get some cards. A gift in disguise? Like you dodged a bullet. I don't know. There was something that it's like you are breaking ties, or you have broken ties with something or someone, and because of that you are now embracing more freedoms. And as difficult as breaking those ties were, as difficult as walking away from that situation was, in the long run it's what was the best. Yeah, we have the Queen of Wands now. We have the King of Wands and the Queen of Wands. So the Queens, again, are energies. This is a very internal one. You're now kind of coming into your own power. You're receiving that, again, we had that idea of like fire, of passion. Like you're coming back into what you love. Sorry, like a cat hair trying to go up my nose. Kitty glitter. Four of Swords. I get the sense that like you've broken away from something and you've been able to, we're talking about like healing. And it's a swords too. Swords are very mental, very airy. So there's been a lot of mental healing. Resting, like really resting. Not just physical, but like on a like mental rest as well. With Seven of Swords. I'm kind of getting, again, that the two messages of there was some backhanded things going on, but at the same time, also don't retaliate in the same way. Just because someone else did you wrong, doesn't mean you have to wrong them back. Ooh, the Emperor. Yeah, I just get the sense we were talking about responsibilities. Like the Emperor is a very responsible card. We have the Emperor and the Empress here. The Emperor and the Empress, the King of Wands and the Queen of Wands. The phrase like moral high ground comes to mind. Huh, okay. Yeah, with the Six of Cups, this was something that could have been going on for quite some time. It could even be a childhood wound. And these themes of like taking moments, like things are changing, power dynamics in your life are changing, and as you kind of come into power, you also have to make sure you're grounded enough to, yes, take responsibility for your actions, but not retaliate against those. Like, you don't have to come into that, like, petty energy. Interesting. Okay. All right. So we are moving on to, our last card, and also we have the Sun. So I'm going to read the Sun in both its fourth and first position. So it's 31. Ooh. Oh, hey, flipped right to it. Yay! I love when that happens. So the Sun's general meaning is warmth and strength of character. In its fourth position, it says, coldness of the heart will freeze you. In its first position is prosperity, flourishment, life's caresses, and happiness. So we're just talking about like how you are coming into this healing energy. You are coming into like your own power. There is a transformation kind of happening with you. And it could be that in the past you kind of were left, and we also have Isa, the rune of ice, which is like this slow delay, a blockage even. So yeah, with that kind of duality happening between the fourth and the first position, I almost want to say like you're thawing, like that, the coldness in the past that was very much, you know, it was there for your protection. Again, this shield protection with the fire here. Maybe you did have to numb yourself to certain things because in the past that was a survival mechanism. It's how you were able to just, you know, get through the day, the week, the month, the year. There was something there that you did have to kind of wall off. You had to block. And now you're coming out of that. You are letting your warmth come out again. You know, you're letting your passions show. Yeah. It could have been that those passions that you had to, maybe you had to put your passions to the side, or it was burnout, or there was something that, again, you've been healing, you've been working with, and you're now coming back out into the world. Could have been you kind of went into hermit mode as well. You know, you just didn't feel like going out or being with other people, which, you know, valid. But now it's, again, I just get this like idea, again, we have these vision, like intensity and passion, a lot of very passionate energy here, very fiery, very passionate, several cards or runes about like, yeah, that passion is coming forward again, when in the past it may have had to dim, or it felt stuck, or it, you know, it felt frozen, felt numb. You know, you are working out of that. You're coming back out of that. Okay. So, ooh, we have the moon. The moon and the Two of Wands. I feel like you're, yeah, this, just with like this person that's kind of floating right beneath the surface of the water. You're coming out of those shadows. You're coming to the surface. And it could be that other things are coming to the surface as well. And sometimes with healing, that happens, you know. Again, make sure, show yourself some love and kindness. As things come up, I definitely feel, though, like you have the tools in which to work through them and work with them. And we have the Two of Wands. Again, very, very a lot of fire cards coming out. Yeah, you have the tools. You have the tools to move forward and to go out into the world as this like new warm version of yourself. That's all, it was always there. It's not like this is new. I said new, didn't I? I don't remember. Anyways, I don't want to say that it's new. It's what am I trying to say? Not that it's new, but it was always there. It's just now it's there in its most authentic form. You know, it could be in the past, again, we were talking about like you know, dimming your light, or kind of, you know, freezing those emotions, like that is now, you are past that, or you are working past that, and you are now coming out more authentically as yourself, and that self is a very warm and strong individual. Also, I just saw like the globe on this here, and then we also have the earth here with the Empress. There is some, again, I was talking about earlier with like what you do now is going to affect something in the long term, or something in the greater picture. Maybe worldwide? I don't know. But, all right, so let's get our other three pictures. So we do have 37, which is an angel. Nope, too far. Doo-doo. So the angel is a guardian angel in this case. And we read all these in their upright. So it's a bright wish for happiness awaits you, which is freaking lovely. And we have the 2 runes here. These are the 2 Celtic runes for insight, vision, intensity, and passion. And we had the nine of cups here. Something you are very passionate about is coming to fruition. And again, I'm looking at, like, we were talking about, like, things you're passionate about, like your passions, with the rune for shield and protection. With the 10 of swords, yeah. The hard part, oh yeah, we were talking about burnout. With the 10s, it's like, the 10s is like, it's at the end. That burnout, that whatever you are walking away from, again with the 8 of cups, is like that is kind of, it's done, it's over, you're moving on. And in a way, if you believe in guardian angels, if you believe in a higher power, ancestors, like, you've been protected on this path as well. Let me get cards for the other ones too. All right, just need 2. I need one for the apple. Ooh, okay. Cool. All right, so 28 is the horseshoe, which is very lucky. Yep. So the horseshoe is success, and it's about good fortune with the King of Cups here. So going back to this with the crawfish, and it was, taking a moment, taking a step back, looking at everything, make sure, don't rush into it. This power dynamic that's shifting, going from, like, you have 2 cups, 8 of cups to the King of Cups. Something that's very stable and very emotionally mature. And this could be you, could be another person. But the situation or the person, could be a situation, whatever it is very emotionally stable. There could be, again, this doesn't necessarily feel like one thing. There could be multiple aspects happening here. Could be a person and a situation as well. Again, it could be like something changing in, again, example, something changing in your career with, like, contracts and, figuring that out, as well as in a personal dynamic with another person. Interesting. Okay. And then 6 with the apple. Oh, hey, it's right there. The apple is a symbol for an encounter, which is really interesting with the world. We have the world and the 10 of swords. Like, something, there is a transformation here. Something is ending because something is beginning. And in its upright, it's a pleasant happening. So it's a pleasant encounter. Can we get any more information about this encounter? I just got the phrase Ace of Swords, the meeting of the minds. I wonder if you are meeting someone that changes your perspective on something. Again, going back to the Hanged Man. Also the King of Cups. This could be an individual you're meeting that is going to help you with this success moving forward, because they're coming from a very emotionally grounded place. They know who they are. They've kind of, I feel like they've been there, they've done that. They know how to help you navigate your way forward through this. I feel like they on some level also understand maybe what you even have been through. And the fact that you've made it this far, and you've been doing some great work. You really have. The collective that listens to this, like, there's been a lot of messages of some really deep and substantial and profound healing. But there could absolutely be someone coming in to kind of help you with those final steps. Again, the world and the 10. With the Knight of Cups. Huh, okay. again, we were talking, this is feels very multifaceted. One of those facets could be a partnership with someone, could be with this person or through them you meet someone. But there's definitely an emotional tie. There's an emotional intimacy there. Doesn't have to be intimate, but there's an emotional connection. Yeah. Well, dang. And you have King of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. There you go. So, a very, I want to say, not necessarily prosperous week, but a week in which steps are starting to be made to move forward in some capacity. I feel like there is at least another person involved. Could be someone you know, maybe not. Is that the meeting of the minds? I don't know. This could be someone new coming in with that meeting. But something is definitely ending to move forward. And again, that message of like transformation, power dynamics changing, and like making sure, yes, you take care of yourself, but, you know, make sure it's grounded and balanced and it's not in a way that's going to hurt or, you know, harm another person. Even if you feel justified in that, in the long run, in the greater picture, that kind of retaliating energy is not going to be healthy for you in the long run. Especially when we're working with, this could be your career, you know, your partnerships with people. How you handle this is going to be very telling about how you move forward with things. So, that being said, that is what I feel this next week is bringing you. And as always, a little housekeeping. If you like the vibes here, please like, subscribe, hit the little bell icon. It's super helpful for the channel. And I would love to keep doing reads for you guys. So I appreciate the support. And you can also support at Buy Me a Coffee. We have behind the scenes content there with little mini reads and also deck reviews. And I think it's like $5 a month. So you can head over there and also support me that way. Either way, thank you so much for being here. As always, please take care of yourself. Stay safe. And until next time, I love you guys. All right? Bye-bye.